Peace, peace. Welcome to Mama Living Healthy. I'm Tymay, and today our special guest is Maya. And today we'll be talking about art. So my first question to you is, as an artist, what inspires you?
Oh, it can be anything. It can really just be what's going on around me. Like everything inspires me.
That's great.
I don't know how else to say it, but I do a lot of political art. I do humans. I paint a lot of human portraits. So just looking at people and trying to see behind the eyes, that really does it.
What is your preferred medium?
Well, I paint. And I prefer painting in acrylics because just the clean air, it really builds up, the painting in oils and just breathing that in constantly. So that does it. But I've been mostly writing this past year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So writing, I took my YouTube page. I started my YouTube page. So editing now, it's all very similar. Like all art is kind of similar. And then the techniques are more different. So so you get the idea and then you express it somehow. And so this year has been a lot of writing and video editing and incorporating my paintings into that.
Yes, started watching your YouTube with my husband, and I was we were so surprised to see how you were expressing yourself. This platform, I think, is amazing, because there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing. So I think that's really admirable.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
I did want to ask you another question. You were from Boston?
I was born in Boston,
okay.
And I grew up in Providence. So if you're not from the area, that's pretty much the same place.
Okay.
But by Southern New England standards, they're actually far apart.
Okay. Oh, okay.
They're like 35 miles apart, maybe 50 miles apart, really. So by Southern California standards, that's nothing. That's like a drive to Long Beach or whatever.
Right.
Up there, that's a big distance.
But what led you to the decision to move to LA?
I had been making comedy videos and comedy movies before, and doing a lot of writing before as well. And so I said, well, I could be a novelist, and nobody reads anymore. So, I mean, I would have loved to have been a novelist. I may still be a novelist. And I did something and I incorporated painting into it. So that's not completely off the table. I love doing that. I love writing, like I said. But really, I came out here to be in the movies.
Was it like a hard transition coming from, a whole nother coast?
It was. I was going through a lot in my life when that happened. It was a huge transitional period. And I want to say in the 18 months before I moved to Los Angeles, my life took a complete 180. It was just a 180. And so I said, well, I've got to do this. This is what I said I was going to do. This is what I want to do. So I drove. I didn't even know how to drive really before, because this town I'm in is so small, I can take the bus everywhere.
Right.
And then so I just got my license before I left Providence, just got it. And learning to drive was driving across country to Los Angeles.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a tough decision, and it was a complete change from what I'd been used to. But I don't regret it.
So did you go to school back home, or?
Yeah, I went to the University of Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's my state school. I did a double major, U.S. history and sociology.
Nice. That makes so much sense. Okay.
Right? It explains a lot.
Yes. Okay. That's awesome. Did you ever expand, I guess, on your knowledge of art? Did you attend any workshops, or you just kind of self-taught, or how did that come about for you?
Oh, geez. It was about 7 years ago when I decided to go back to painting because I had painted through my entire childhood.
Okay.
I was a talented child artist, and I just sort of fell out because, you finish high school and I was not encouraged to go into arts. I was encouraged to become an academic.
Right.
So it was like, okay, well, that was a fun hobby when you were a kid, move on from that. And then so I did, and I figured, well, writing and film will be my career.
Yeah.
But then I went back to art about 7 years ago, and I was like, well, let me just do a painting, let me just do one thing. And I didn't stop. Well, I stopped this year. I haven't done much art this year since my drawings that are up.
Okay.
But I do plan to do some more art by the end of the year.
Yes, I look forward to it. I look forward to your writing as well. I know it is hard to find people that read, like other than, things other than just like the basic, I guess, fiction stories and things like that. So yeah, I completely understand. I took a break from writing for a long time, and I'm like starting to get back into it again. So it is like a completely different field because for years I was only doing like acrylic painting back to back. So yeah, it's a nice little break. And then like you said, like it's a different way to express yourself, and it's very like relieving, like, oh, I got this out,
Yeah, get back into it, even if it's just for you, a journal to keep your thoughts in order, especially this year,
Yeah, absolutely.
I look forward to reading your writing. That'll be exciting.
Yes. To write poetry, like back when I was like 12, and I used to be like really into it. I wanted to be a poet. But people, like how you said, people are like, oh, maybe you should do this, or, maybe be a teacher or something. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do that, So, yeah.
That's what they do. They tell you to be more realistic, and then it's hard. It's especially now that a lot of people who were more realistic are in the same place as the artists. It's like, I should have just been an artist from jump.
Exactly. I noticed that you do a lot of things, and I applaud you for it because it is not easy, definitely trying to balance out all these things that you do. So that's awesome. But on Wording is Hard, do you like select these words, or is it a learning experience for you as well?
It's a learning experience for me because Tahir's wife, Farron, selects the words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she does all this, and I don't know if she's got something against Tahir or she wants to embarrass him. I get the words sometimes, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That's why I started being nicer, because I'm like, there's no way. And people come in and you can see that they're trying their hardest. Yeah. And I'm in their position, like, if I didn't have this paper in front of me, how bad would I look right now? I wouldn't know this word either. Sometimes I have to look it up and make sure I understand what the pronunciation is from those spoken.
Right.
When you hit the button in Webster and it'll tell you this is how you say it in English. So I'm like, okay, I'll go by that. Merriam-Webster decided. But yeah, no, I don't select the word. Sometimes if there's no sentence, I'll do the sentence, or I'll move the sentence around to make it, clearer. But for the most part, that's all Farron.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is very interesting. What kind of got you into that? Is that he just kind of asked you to just host, or?
Yeah, I work for Transit Pictures.
Okay.
And they produce the show, and they're like, well, we have this perfect Brennan Edwards, who's Droner. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but basically he's one of the company owners, and he said, well, we have a perfect person for the show. One of our producers he said robotic. I didn't think that was fair, but that's how I got it.
Oh, wow.
He's like, she's robotic and she comes to the office regularly, so this is perfect.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think what stole it for me was like that whole first intro of like just your reaction to him trying to pronounce the words. And I think like, I don't know, it just kind of shows like the humanity of it. Like, You know, like we're not perfect people. Like we mess up. Like it's okay. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I love the concept. If I weren't on it, I'd be watching every week.
Yeah. Do you not like to like go back and watch them? Is it just too much for you?
I never watch it. I never ever watch WordingIsHard. I know that I see it edited sometimes, and sometimes I have to leave the room because I'm just like, I can't. I don't know why, because I'll edit my own YouTube videos, but something about that, I just let it be.
Yeah, totally understandable. What is it like being a woman working with Tony and Keon on the DaddyIssues podcast?
Oh, it was great. I'm not on DaddyIssues anymore. They combined it with A Hot Nothing. Okay. But while I was there from the start, actually, because we came up with it at Transit Pictures, and we're with Tony. Tony's a part of the company owner, one of the company owners. He's like a minority partner, Tony Baker. There's actually 2 Tonys that are company owners, which I know makes things confusing. Which Tony are you talking about? So we actually came up with it, and we were like, oh, Keon, you'd be great for it. And Keon was like, you know, this will work out perfectly. And he's always got his sons, and he's such a good dad. We were like, if people just saw how good a dad you are on the day-to-day, just the way you're always with your children, you're always taking care of them. And Tony is such a great dad too. 2 boys. Sincere, his youngest, now works for Transit too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it started as an internship, and he's an editor, and he's just such a smart kid. And you can see how well Tony really did with him.
Yes.
So I have so much respect for both those guys as fathers. I'm just over here like finding the news articles and trying to throw in a bone every once in a while, or a spoke in the wheel. What do you call that? When you throw something in the wheel, just mess them up a little bit and throw them off their balance. That was sort of my job for 2 years. Little
swipe in the road there. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll say something like, I'm thinking this and this, and then I'll say something like, but what about this? And they'll be like, oh, why did you have to say that? I'm like, I don't know. What am I supposed to be here for? I've got to say something.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, I had no idea it was even a thing until my husband, I saw him watching it. I'm like, what are you watching? And then I was like, is that Maye? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, he's been watching this for a while. I just wasn't included. I see why, obviously. But but that's cool. Like, just to kind of show that, you know.
Yeah, and now they're with A Hot Nothing. So that's DC, that's Chaz, and that's, Wayne's. I forget his first name. I know it too, because I kind of guested one time, or we put him together before, so I met him and sat next to him. So I feel like a total jerk right now forgetting his name. But check out DaddyIssues A Hot Nothing. It's still going on now. It's incredible.
Where can people find you?
Muses on YouTube. And that's just random thoughts I put out. I make these videos. I put them out twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. And just go there and comment and, you know, be nice to the other commenters, and I'll get back to you. As long as everybody's nice, I get back to them. If they're not nice, I don't get back to them.